Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shou Talks. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, I got a detour real quick. I'm really having a lot of fun doing this. Like, I keep saying that I'm gonna bring a guest on, but I actually enjoy having these conversations and just getting things off my chest. But now that that's been said, today I actually want to start by shouting out Fena. That girl is, oh my God, like powerhouse, everything. I just put her as my woman to follow last week. So you guys need to go ahead and check out my Instagram post. If you don't know what my Instagram handle is, it is I_am_shenanigans. That's SHOUNANIGANS. Holla at her. Fena is who did my photo shoot for year 2 of Shenanigans. But the reason why I want to shout her out in the beginning of this episode is because she is actually what implanted today's topic into my head. And it is because she posted something that resonated with me, and I was like, ooh, this will be a great topic. So she posted a quote, and it says, social media constantly pushes be her peace and be his peace when it comes to our romantic relationships, but fails to emphasize that that actually applies to our friendships as well. So when I read that, I was like, a lot of people don't necessarily realize friendships are relationships as well. And I wanted to talk about Aristotle's 3 types of friendships. I don't even know if there's a particular order that these are usually said, but I'm going to go in a particular order because of the experiences I have. And I kind of feel like the order I'm about to go through kind of just flows easier in this conversation. So the first type of friendship that Aristotle mentions is friendship of pleasure. And you will actually see this more so for younger people. And it's usually when you have something in common. Like, everybody has different types of friends. Like that is a given. You have certain friends that you can go out with. You have certain friends for traveling. You have certain friends to party. You have certain friends where, if there's that you can bring around your family. There are certain, you know what I mean? Everybody has different types of friendship. So those usually are friendships of pleasure. It's Friday night and you want to get hammered. You got that one person you can call who's always down to party and get drunk and act a fool. Or if, sports team, a lot of times people in college, you guys are all on a team or you're playing sports, you create a bond, but that bond is solely related to the sport that you are playing. And it's not a bad thing. You tend to realize those type of friendships when your interests change, or if you're no longer playing that sport, you realize that you don't really have that much interest in that person or, communicating with them. I was part of a flag football team where we literally had practice almost 4 or 5 times a week. And it was a group of at least 12 girls. I could be lying. But out of 12 girls, I'm only friends with only 2 of them till this day. Now, not to say that anything was wrong with the other girls on the team, but out of 12 individuals, I was able to build a friendship of the good with 2. And then the other 10, we got to keep it 100. Those are more so friendships of pleasure. The pleasure being flag football, because the minute the season was done or the minute I left the team, there's social media. So, that kind of kept us connected, but overall it was nothing there. There was no substance to this friendship that everybody thought they had. The other friendship is a friendship of utility. And with the friendship of utility, both parties are not in it for affection. And it's not necessarily that you have a common interest, but one or both parties benefits from something the other person has. For example, I had a friend who wasn't really, I'm going to use the word soft skills because it's a word that I recently learned, I want to say within the past 3 years. She did not have any soft skills. And those of you who know me, I am a very social, outgoing, talk to strangers, make sure you have a good time and everyone around us is having a great time type of person. So granted, looking past the fact that we were both in high school together, we never really established a core friendship. There was always a utility involved, or pleasure. Like back in high school, we went to high school together, and I went to Fontbonne Academy, so there were not that many Black people, and so all the Black girls kind of just got together and we all became friends. Now, I'm not saying that all of the friendships that were formed are all based off pleasure and utility. However, there were certain friendships where, hey, we're all in high school together. I see you every single day for 8 hours a day. So, of course, there's going to be some type of commonality, if that's a word, there. The test actually comes when we graduate. Do we keep in contact? And for a lot of them, we didn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. For instance, even in middle school, well, technically I went to a Catholic school, so we did K through 8. But the friendships that were formed, I have known people since kindergarten. And then we graduated 8th grade. And I never, there was a struggle with the maintenance of this friendship. Why? Because we weren't in school together all day anymore. I wasn't seeing you all day, every day. I wasn't talking to you all day, every day. So therefore, we started to kind of just grow apart. Same thing with high school. Same thing with college. And, as we got older, we kind of, we regrouped a friendship. And, there was a group of us that all went to high school together, and we all came back, and, it was one particular person, shout out to Regine, she's kind of like the mama bear. She's the glue. Regine has an amazing way of trying to keep everybody together, and there's nothing you could do but appreciate that of her. And, we formed a group chat where we would check in, and I started to notice that it became more so a friendship. Well, for me, at least. And I do want to make that disclaimer. There was a lot of us on this group chat, and there are real friendships within that group. I, however, started to kind of feel like my friendship wasn't as strong as some of the other friendships in that chat, which is fine. It's nobody's fault. It kind of just, if you look at the different types of friendship that Aristotle speaks of, friendship of utility and friendship of pleasure, I fell into those categories when it came to this particular group of individuals. Nobody's fault. That's just how life works. And, there was one particular individual who, I want to use her as an example because, it ended badly, but I know where I played a role in it spiraling, and, I can accept that. But I do want to speak on it because a lot of people, and I'm not speaking about her, I'm just saying a lot of people don't really understand the underlying, I guess, definitions of friendship. So we started to get really, really close one summer. And the reason why I chose to use it as an example for the friendship of utility is because that's exactly what it was. Like I said, I'm super social. I am the one that if you go to a party, I will talk to strangers. I will grab the attention that's there. Not purposely, as just, if anybody knows me, I am just really, not to say wild and crazy, but I'm that person. I'm the one to get up on the stage. I'm the one to, just randomly start speaking and draw people in. I just enjoy company. I enjoy socialism. Like, come on, guys. I graduated college with a bachelor's in sociology. So she had a car. She had a beautiful car at that. And we benefited from that. You know, she benefited from the fact that I had a very carefree, flirty, spontaneous attitude. And I benefited from the fact that she had a car and she was willing to pick me up to go out any and all the time. So it kind of went in hand. Now, you know, I know that I have certain bad habits, and we kind of would always just let it slide. You know, my bad habits were never corrected or spoken of, and vice versa. Eventually one day, I don't know, I had a light bulb moment. I kind of just needed a break from everybody, and I did just that, which is something that I'm not proud of. I'm starting to learn that if you are in a situation where something happens to you, instead of just ghosting people, you should talk it out. At least that way it allows you to see the other person's perspective and for them to see your perspective. But when you just go ghost, it's kind of just like everybody's left with questions unanswered. And that's not really fair to anybody. That kind of just leads me to say that, you know, both friendships of utility and friendship of pleasure are both temporary, short-lived friendships. You know, people's interests change, and you know they're not negative friendships. They are just temporary, and you don't go out looking for a friendship of utility. You don't go out looking for a friendship of pleasure. These are things that kind of just happen. They happen without you even realizing it. You know, it's kind of like when you go to a barbershop or, you know, they talk about it in people all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, you like Love and Hip Hop? Oh my gosh. So let me talk. What'd you think about this episode? And then boom, a friendship arises. But a friendship arises. Is it arises? A friendship comes out of interest. So now you have a friendship of pleasure. Because once you stop watching Love and Hip Hop, do you have nothing else to talk about? Unless, you know, you guys dug in deeper and started realizing you had other interests. But if you created a friendship based off of watching a TV show, if that TV show ends, if you stop watching it, you no longer have that foundation. Which brings me to the third and final type of friendship that Aristotle mentions, which is the friendship of the good. Now, rather than utility or pleasure, this kind of relationship is based on a mutual appreciation of the virtues the other person holds dear. In this kind of friendship, the people themselves and the qualities they represent provide the incentive for two parties to be in each other's lives. In other words, you're pretty much just appreciative of the person for who they are. Now, it's not to say that there's no benefit. That's not to say that you guys don't have anything pleasurable or common interests or commonalities, but you guys are friends because you genuinely appreciate this person for who they are. The thing with friendships of the good, which is also referred to as friendships of virtue, is that they take time and trust to build, and they depend on the mutual growth. Now, I love to use my best friend Stephanie as an example, because we have been friends for almost 20 years at this point. And we have gone through, child, when I tell you that we can fill a library up with events and adventures and just experiences that we have had. I believe me when I say it. And the friendship of the good it's those type of relationships where I don't need to talk to you every single day. I don't need to see you every single day. I don't need to, be around you all the time. But when we get together, it is as if no time was lost. It is as if we just picked up exactly where we left off. And those are the friendships that Aristotle defined as the ultimate goal of friendships. You know, these are, it's important to realize that if you lack empathy or the ability to care for anybody else, it's not possible for you to develop a friendship of virtue, a friendship of the good. You know, these type of friendships are more, these are the people who become your family. Friendships of virtue are the friendships where, you know, your friends they become family, they become your cousins, they become your sisters. I don't even refer to Stephanie as a friend. Friendships of virtue, they require time and attention. But when they blossom, it's like you have trust, you have admiration, you have awe. When you look at friendships of the good, you know, beyond their depth and intimacy, the beauty of those type of relationships is how they include the rewards of the other two types of friendship. You know, they are beneficial and they are pleasurable. But when you respect a person and you actually genuinely care for them, you gain joy just from hanging out with them. If I refer back to Stephanie, we have that type of friendship where she just comes over. Or I just roll up to her. I don't need to call you to tell you I'm coming over. I just show up. Her kids call me auntie. You know, we have established a family within our friendship. And these type of things are important. So when I saw Fena's post about being the peace in your friendship, that made me think of all the different types of friendships that I've had, all the different people that I have put energy to and who have put energy into me. You know, I know that I am not an easy person to deal with at time. I know that I can be controlling, and there are times where I just want to I want everything to go exactly how I have it planned. Like I am atypical like that. And that's not always fair to other people in the relationship. So I think it's very important that we keep in mind the types of people as well as the type of friendships that we put into our lives, because it affects you. It affects your outcome. It affects your mentality. It affects your soul. You know, I think a lot of people don't sit back and realize how much people put into your lives. You know, I think, you know, hitting 30 has kind of just put me at the point where I don't want just anybody in my life. I don't want just, you know, it makes me think back to high school where all I wanted was popularity. All I wanted was to be the person that knew any and everything about any and everyone. I wanted to be your first phone call when something went down. I wanted to be your last phone call before you went to sleep. I wanted to know what was going on with everybody. Now, oh baby, I'm good. I'm okay with saying that I can probably count, I'll say 2 hands, because although my circle is ridiculously small, I love it. I absolutely love it because it gives me peace. I don't want people in my life that cannot bring me peace. If you're going to stress me out, then you can't be here. I have already too many things that I'm dealing with for me to now have a friend that I got to be stressed out about. Like, if you not financing, feeding, or me, then there is no reason why you should be stressing me out. Like at all. And I think I've just gotten to the point where I'm okay with just cutting those type of people out of my life. It's not that I hate you. It's not that we got beef, but I just don't have the capacity for the type of stress you give me. So when I tell you, and I'm trying to do a way better job with telling my friends, my true friends, I love you. Telling my friends I appreciate you for the ones I actually appreciate and the ones I actually love. I'm trying to do a better job at it because I know, and we're all adults. We all get to the point where we get lost in work. We get lost in our families. We get lost in our relationships. We get lost in trying to find time for ourselves that we forget the support group. We forget our friends. We forget the community we've built to strengthen us. It's not your fault. That's just life. Life sometimes just takes over. So I really just wanted to tell you guys to be mindful of the different types of people you have in your life. It's friendships of utility and friendships of pleasure. They're not bad friendships. They're not terrible. But I think it's important for you to be able to identify them. I think it's important to not confuse them with friendships of virtue. I feel like a lot of people think because you've been friends with somebody for so long that you are stuck to them. You owe them the rest of your life. That is not true. I'm sorry, to be completely honest. Real friendships don't start until your adult life. Because that is really when you are truly tested. That is when you see, that's when school is taken out of the picture. That's when sports groups, these type of things are taken out. So, like I said, I think we just need to be mindful of the people we have in our lives. I think the phrase "birds of a feather flock together," it kind of good way to segue that into this topic, because a lot of you, actually, you know what? No, not necessarily, because I have a lot of friends where I'm not necessarily, where we could be polar opposites. But I know you're a genuine person. I know that your heart is good. But anyway, so like I said, shout out to Fena for that amazing quote and for sparking this topic. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about these types of friendships, friendship of utility, friendship of pleasure, and friendship of the good. Let me know in the comments, how did you determine what friendships were what? Or are you still at the point in your life where you're trying to figure that out? I feel like my younger audience will probably have a harder time distinguishing between the three friendships, because let me tell you something. I was in my 20s, man, and in my 20s, we were all besties. I mean, you might throw some shade at me, but you're still my bestie. And so, it's kind of hard to distinguish that. But my older friends, my older audience members, those of you in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, when did you realize that you were in a friendship of convenience, which is utility, or a friendship of pleasure? And when did you start to develop a friendship of virtue? Let me know in the comments. But in the meantime, in between time, I really do want to thank you guys for rocking out with me. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will catch you on the next episode. And with that, I'm out.